I suppose it's hard for some to understand my surprise at having friends, but really it just comes down to the fact that every man is very much the boy he once was. No matter how far you may think you have come, you are still just that broken boy. The scars don't fade, they just deepen. You tell yourself you are a grown man, that you have left the hurts and betrayals of childhood behind, but the child is the true you, the adult, but a fiction you have convinced yourself is real. I imagine most children dream of freedom. They chafe at the rules and boundaries that hem them in, the limitations of childhood, as they see it. It is possible to have too much freedom. Boundaries and limitations serve a purpose. It's a shame that I had none, though I did not see it so. No rules, no boundaries. Absolute freedom. I don't know who me father was. Me mum didn't have much of an idea neither. For all she knew, it could have been any one of a number of disreputable blokes given her vocation. Me mum was, shall we say, a woman of commercial virtue, in a shabby establishment catering to a dubious clientele. And I was just another occupational hazard of her particular lifestyle, and she certainly treated me as such. The bloke what run the establishment was a brute, as were many of the customers. Me mum was only too happy to pass the brutality along. She didn't object to her employer doing likewise. That's just the way it is, right? Thems as can, prey on thems that can't stop them from doing it. Her child being the easiest target, of course. But that were home, weren't it? Only one I had ever known, so who knew better, right? Still, there was a light in even that darkness, a shining beacon of love in that pit of misery and abuse. She weren't me mum, but she showed me what love as a mum should. Despite that hell, she were pure, an angel. She were young and free, and full of joy even in that hole. What memories I have of happiness and laughter were because of her, but darkness eventually takes the brightest of lights. She was too pure for this vile world, and so she was just gone. She were gone, and with her my innocence and childhood. Me mum and the bloke what owned the place decided it was time what I earned me keep. He led me to a room, said as I was to do as the gentleman within said. After, I was to return and give him the contents of the fella's coin purse. I didn't choose to oblige the gentleman, and the contents I returned wasn't from the coin purse he was expecting. Let's just say it was clear I was no longer welcome in that fine establishment. He made it quite clear the consequences should I return. And so I found myself out on the streets, alone. No home, no one to care for or protect me. In fact, there was those as thought they could prey on me, as there are those as are wont to do when they think they see vulnerability. I weren't vulnerable. I had discovered I was as much a predator as any. I had discovered I had a talent. I was only too happy to put it to use. And employ that talent I did. I was brutal and messy. People what crossed me had a habit of turning up dead if they ever turned up again at all. I thought myself an apex predator, unseen, stealthy, and brutally efficient. It was hubris, unseemly pride. I thought I was slick, but I had attracted attention. He watched me, unseen for years before he approached me. He recognised my talents and said he could teach me to use them professionally. He was an assassin. He was getting older and decided he needed an apprentice. He would be my mentor. When I was ready, I would join him in fulfilling contracts. We would be partners. The apprenticeship started. He sat me down and taught me letters. He said one must be able to read a contract if one wants to fulfill it. He taught me poisons and alchemy and such. He said there were more subtle and less messy ways of killing. Sometimes it wasn't supposed to look like murder. He taught me proper dagger work, the best places to strike for a quick death, or a slow one. He taught me disguise, how to get in places unnoticed, how to reach targets with no one the wiser. Then at last I joined him on his missions, put my new skills into practice. We worked together for a time, honing my skills, splitting the take. Then he let me know he intended to retire, said he were getting too old for the work. He still expected to split the take. Why he thought I would do all the work and he profit from it, I don't know. A tip off to the City Watch put paid to that. It were finally time to pay a debt what was owing. I burned me old home down. I watched the whoremaster burn. Mum didn't burn though. I made sure she didn't suffer. so that's why I'm surprised to have friends. Can't say as I really deserve them,